We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and your friends if you wanna support this rebel outpost, if you want to support the true home for college football sickos with a donation, hit the $sign where you make your comment, and I'll get you super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. The little general, Maria Hernandez, Pflugar, Garcia, Vargas, Rojas, Pflugar is in the house. So behave yourself. Let me start off with this. And I do not do this enough. We've been doing a lot of live shows. We basically almost do them every single day. It's been a very busy off season. And as you all know, during the off season, college football Peek Around the Corner, while we're covering everything in college football, we still talk football. I mean, actual football during the off season. We're going to do it again today on the live show. But what I'm trying to get at is, what I'm trying to say is, thank you. Thank you to the PATC family members for joining us as often as you do. This little, small, crazy home for college football sickos, these live shows are extraordinary. And it ain't because of the fat guy from Minnesota. The community that you all have built, it is very, very unique. We talk everything. We talk everything. Our bandwidth goes from Los Angeles to Miami to Piscataway, New Jersey, and every place in between. We're talking SEC, we're talking Big Ten, we're talking private equity, we're talking the portal, we're talking codification. We sing on this show. We actually sing on this live show. Not very good, but we sing on this live show. What I'm trying to say is, it is impossible, literally impossible to do a national college football show like this. It's not done. It's not done to the point where you have over 80 people, over 90 people, over 100 people in a live show at one time. And often we have way more than that. I don't say thank you to you all enough. I don't. So I wanted to start off saying thank you to the PATC crazies out there. Thank you, even to the haters. Thank you for watching our show. Thank you to the PATC family members who continue to watch us and engage. This show, the engagement by you all is absolutely ridiculous. In the numbers, in the chats, in the viewership, for this small of a YouTube channel, it is absolutely ridiculous. And I want to thank you all, because I think what you all have done, the way you have interacted with each other, the way we talk college football, the way we throw the kindly elbows to each other, cross-rival, I think you have made it to where other people can join. I have had so many DMs just recently, in the last couple of months, from those who have found this college football show and say they cannot wait until we come on live. They love the community. They love the people in the chat room. So what you all are doing is you're bringing in people. They're seeing how you all interact. And so I want to thank you. I'm gonna try to remember to thank you all more often. Shame on me. I'm going to try to do better. Anyways, this is College Football's Peek Around the Corner. Thank you so very much. We are going to talk. We're going to touch upon a little bit about the Boise State, the athletic director, saying that he expects to have some sort of private equity deal done in 6 months. Now, it might not be a private equity deal. It might be a private capital deal wrapped in a private equity firm. Whatever. We'll find out together. But somebody is going to jump in the water first. Like me and the little general. When we go swimming, who's going to actually go into that pool first? Who is going to actually test the water first? The fat guy from Minnesota or the beautiful Maria Hernandez Garcia Flugar? Usually it's Mireya, because one, she's more brave than I am. Two, I push her into the pool. Anyways, so somebody's going in first. Somebody is going in first. It might at a school level. It might be Boise State. It sounds like from reports that this Elevate is basically, well, we'll get into it today, but it's a line of credit. It's a line of credit. You need quick cash. You need to build something that is going to build a revenue stream. We'll give you the money. We'll take our cut. It's not going to be a quick turnaround. We're not going to, it sounds like it's a line of credit type of situation that could work, probably will work for certain particular situations. We're also going to talk about, you've been reading all these reports. There is more reports. The FBS athletic directors met today in a big old meeting. You had 90 of them, according to Ross Dellinger, over 90 of them. They saw how the clearinghouse is going to work. You are starting, I think we're starting to see how this is supposedly going to work. These athletic departments are bringing in their collectives. They're bringing in their boosters. They're telling the players, they're telling the boosters, everything has to go through us. Everything. So we can protect ourselves and the student athletes. You can see this forming. So that is quite interesting. We're also going to talk football, all SEC offense per Athlon Sports. We've done the ACC, we've done the Big 12, we've done the Big 10. Today we're going to do the Southeastern Conference. Some big names on that team. A couple of surprising names on that team. Put down in the comments or later in the phone call what you agree or disagree with Athlon Sports all SEC first team. Now, let's do, we got to do a roll call here. We got to do a roll call. Thank you for all that have shown up on a early evening, Tuesday, June 10th. Mr. U, Steel Austin, is in the house. Don Scruggs, Georgia Bulldog, is in the house. There is that Cowboy, MBM, Oklahoma State Cowboy, Clemson Tiger, Bo Weevil, the Duck, Jimmy Austin is in the house. The Sun Devil, the Big 12, reigning, defending, undisputed champion, Arizona State, James Foster is in the house. Nick Kelso is here. We Are Penn State, Bob Swanger is in the house. Stormy Cyclone, a second cup of coffee. We did an episode this morning, real early in the morning. We can touch on that as well. But if you missed it, go back and watch it. Episode 440, where I basically laid out the question, why am I feeling a little optimistic about the settlement actually in large part being codified by Congress? Is it because a lack of intelligence on my part, which is probably the case, or too much coffee, too much Diet Coke? Am I just being naive? Am I being a schmuck? Am I being fooled? We'll touch upon that as well in the live show. And anything you guys want to talk about in your super chats and with your phone calls. But I got to say, there's a little bit of optimism. And I think it's because people are realizing, some very slowly, that this is it. This is the miracle shot that needs to happen. It has to happen. These, call me a schmuck, but most, at least most, of the leadership in college sports, these athletic directors, they are taking this pretty seriously. This is their shot. And there was some reporting this morning that there may be an attempt by the Republican leaders to acquiesce to the Democratic leadership in this House bill that we're all going to see Thursday, protections of the student athletes that the Democrats want. Supposedly that is in that bill. Some of that being injury protect, when a student athlete is injured, insurance type of protection, and things of that nature. Also, a player cannot be cut because of their play on the field. That protection could be in there. Again, just another example of this is not amateurism anymore. It's not, but it definitely ain't professionalism. And honestly, across the political aisle, you can see examples on both sides that they both don't want this to be amateurism anymore, and they both don't want this to be completely professionalized as well. You can see examples on both sides of the aisle. So it's got to be something unique. As Greg Sankey says, college sports, college football is uniquely American. We got to find a sweet spot. Stormy Cyclone is in the house. Christopher Mercado, the man who, by the way, created this picture. Thank you, Christopher Mercado, for what you have done for PATC. Very much appreciated. Hello, PATC. Secret Agent is in the house. Mobcroft is here. Humble Bumble Duck. Stewart is injured. The Ducks are going to have to find production in the wide receiver room. Evan Stewart is injured. A big storyline going into August camp. Vox Quindaro, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, Go Seminole. The Seminole win. The Florida man is in the house. Kay Struthers is here. AMAC is here. The Almighty Finn is here. Adrian Archer is in the house. I don't think they're going to go to green grass. I don't think they are going to go to green grass. Boise needs money for green grass. I don't think so. Stephen Vitt is in the house. He's not surprised. The Bobcat is not surprised by anything. Daniel Gygax, Mr. Mountaineer. Hi, Daniel. Thanks for coming on in. I very much appreciate it. Don Scruggs. I would say mostly the Georgia fans in here makes the show so great. Thanks, Greg. There may be one person who agrees with you in the chat room on that. Don Scruggs. 21, Bucket 21 is in the house. The big Lubbock, Texas Tech. Reports out there they're going to spend $55 million on their roster this year. That could be true. And it could be true next year. And it could be true after that. It probably, most likely, we do not know, but it could get a little bit more difficult because the front loading of NIL NIL deals is over. Any deal submitted, any deal made in-house, because 99% of these deals are going to be made in-house, got to be submitted within 5 days to the clearinghouse, and then we're going to see what the clearinghouse does with this. There are still going to be large name, image, and likeness deals approved in the clearinghouse. In fact, I am going to start there. When we go through the roll call, I want to start. It isn't like there isn't going to be major NIL deals approved in the clearinghouse. There will be. The schools that have the resources, the boosters, the ability to create a name, image, and likeness commercial deal, you're still going to have the advantages. But I'm going to talk what is going to be supposedly the difference between the clearinghouse and the wild, wild west. The architect is in the house. My goodness, the architect is in the house. Rock and Rant is here. Bluefield Equity, Rod Nix, Gold Nose, the Buckeye, Expedition Greg, Karan Shakar is in the house. Expedition Greg, thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you so very much for helping us keep the lights on once again. Mr. Buckeye, Expedition Greg, thank you. Dogs and Doves is in the house. Can't be both amateur and professionalism at the same time. It's gotta be in the sweet spot in between those two. Mayor McCheese is in the house. Morris Simmons is in the house. Lee is here. Lee is in the house. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Let's get to it. First of all, let's talk about this clearinghouse, because I'm still having conversations and everything, and we're still getting reports. The athletic directors went to a meeting today. The FBS athletic directors, they saw how the clearinghouse is going to go through these submissions. There's a flow chart. There is these flow charts. There are going to be massive name, image, and likeness deals approved. These athletic departments, working with their collectives, are going to find out through trial and error what deals are going to pass, what type of deals are not going to pass. And I think they've all got a pretty good idea what deals are going to pass, what type of deals are not going to pass. But they're going to work on it. They're going to tweak it. They're gonna push the envelope on some of these deals. Some of it's going to get denied. A lot of it we're not even going to know about. Now, this is optimistic great talking, okay? But what they're going to try to do, what the clearinghouse is going to try to do, is where it is clear, in my opinion, a pay-for-play type of deal. Okay, I know, I get it. Some of you are yelling at me right now. Some of you are yelling at the phone, yelling at the TV, and saying, great, great, great. You cannot stop somebody from making as much money as they possibly can. I get it. I get it. I'm not as evil as you all think I am. I'm not quite. I'm almost there, but I'm not quite. Okay. I understand we don't have a collective bargaining. We do not have collective bargaining, not yet. And we're not going to get it in this era. Hopefully 6, 7, 8 years down the line, we work towards it as we get through this 10-year stretch in this settlement. I understand we don't have collective bargaining, but let me explain something real quick here. In the collective bargaining world, again, I understand we don't have collective bargaining. But in the collective bargaining world, let's take an example, the NBA. The players are represented. They get in a collective bargaining with the ownership in the CBA. There is a cap. it's not a hard cap. They have a first apron. They have a second apron. You can go over the cap, but you get penalized. If you go way over the cap on the second apron, there are even more penalties, even more restrictions when it comes to trades, when it comes to using your medium exception. They got all. Knowing the NBA collective bargain, the collective bargaining agreement in the NBA takes an absolute genius. And I'm not one of them. You all know that. I'm not the brightest bulb in the refrigerator. But I try to keep up with it. But in this collective bargaining, in this agreement, in the NBA, and I know we don't have that here. I get it. Relax. I'll get to it in a second. When there's a free agent out there, when there's a professional basketball player out there, and a team offers a player $24 million for 3 years. And maybe that's all maybe that offer takes the team to the cap. And they can't go over it. They don't want to go over the apron because the owner doesn't want to pay the extreme luxury tax. But the player wants more money. He can get more money. He wants to go there. Somebody is offering him 3 years, $31 million, but I want to go here at 3 years, $24 million. What is illegal in the NBA is inducement. The player cannot secretly talk to this team over here and say, I'll sign that 3-year, $24 million to keep you at the cap, at the top of the cap. But the player can't go, okay, let's negotiate off the books. You give me another $4 million and it's not reported to the NBA. You give me $4 million in an NIL deal, right? One of your owners of the team whose uncle's nephew, cousin, sister, who owns a company will shuttle $4 million in to my coffer. It's illegal. Again, we don't have collective bargaining in this college football world. I get it. But in the collective bargaining world, in professional sports, it is illegal for inducements beyond the salary. Now, a player can get an NIL deal, a commercial name, image, and likeness deal, but it can't be a pay-for-play. It can't be an inducement. It can't be off-the-books payment. In a collective bargaining world, I get it, we don't have it here yet, but in the collective bargaining world, a player essentially is stopped from making as much money as he possibly can when it comes to this bucket in a collective bargaining world. Now, the labor has agreed to that. Else, you would have chaos. You wouldn't have, the caps would not mean anything, right? You would have absolute chaos. But I'm just saying, there are plenty of competitive worlds, professional sports, pretty much all of them, in a collective bargaining world in which a player cannot get a pay-for-play deal. It's NIL and it's their player contract. And the NIL deal has got to be in place, and it ain't going to be like you have to stay with this one team to get that NIL deal. That is a contract. You're going to get paid no matter what, which is not like a lot of these massive deals are going on now, where you got to pay for this, you got to play for this team, you're getting a pay-for-play type of deal, and it's sometimes very massive. Those are the type of deals that they're trying to shut down. Again, I completely understand why without the collective bargaining, that there's going to be a lawsuit filed by somebody really quick when one of these big time players gets their NIL deal denied by a clearinghouse, because that player did not have representation in the design and the formation of the clearinghouse. I completely understand there's going to be lawsuits filed, and they're probably going to work. And that gets back to the codification. They're trying to get this codified. They're trying to get their arms around this, and we'll see what happens. But I just wanted to go into that just a little bit, because I keep hearing that you never can. I was called a communist today. I was called a communist very early in the morning. I want people to make as much money as possible. I want collective bargaining. But I don't want everything destroyed right now either. I don't want everybody to go to bankruptcy. I don't know. I guess I'm a fool. I'm a schmuck again. Hopefully that explains. The pay for play in the college football world is like an inducement, right? And they're trying to stop that. But authentic NIL deals, which are still going to be massive, they are. They're going to figure this out, ladies and gentlemen. Every school that I'm talking to, Georgia, every school in the chat room, you're going to figure out what the sweet spot is. You're going to figure out, you're going to be talking to companies. You're going to figure out what is approved more often. You're going to your student athletes are going to work hard on their social media. They're going to work towards the channel that the clearinghouse is showing you, which channel, how to go through the channel to get as much money as possible. Go for it. God bless you, student athletes. Go get the money. But we're just trying not to make it a wild, wild west. And we're trying to make it so everything funnels through an athletic department. And by the way, you want that to happen. All these schools are doing it. Again, there's not a school represented in the chat room that isn't not doing it. You want to know your general manager. If you have a general manager, and there's going to be a day where every program is going to have a general manager. If you have a general manager who's talking to your head coach, they want to know, they want to organize this. It's called roster management. They want to know, we should not be given that much rev share to our star quarterback. We need that money to fill out our linebackers, because they're not going to get much NIL money. They're just not. They're not. That's what the rev share money is for. And thank God we got direct payments coming from the school to the players. 95% of the football players are going to be getting higher compensation than they've ever had before. That's a good thing, even though we don't have a collective bargaining agreement. But you got to organize. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fascinating. It would be a whole lot more fascinating if these money figures were in public, so we could all argue over it. But it ain't. It doesn't sound like it's going to be. But, it's like the general manager, your head football coach, Kirby Smart, Mario Cristobal, Pat Sherma, all of them. They got to figure it out with the general manager. They got to negotiate with the player. We'll give you a little bit here. We think we can get this NIL deal here. If we get the NIL deal. So, okay, I'm going to get off this, but I just want to say that there's going to be massive NIL deals that are going to be approved all the time. There will be. But the athletic department is going to have control over that submission. They're going to have control over the submission. They're going to try not to have any McDonald bags, because if that happens and if it gets caught, then there is going to be that booster is going to be ostracized and the player is going to become ineligible. And for those schools, I just had a conversation with Christopher Lambert on Twitter. For those schools that reside in NIL, in states that have NIL state laws, all of you are in the same boat. You're all in the same boat. You all sign on to the settlement deal. You are about to all sign on to the affiliation membership when it gets finally written. Everybody's in the same boat. Now, there could be, if a West Virginia player gets denied an NIL submission, there could be somebody in the state of West Virginia who's going to sue. These lawsuits are coming. But West Virginia is not going to take part in that suit. Rich Rod is not going to take part in that suit. Ren Baker is not going to take part in that suit, because they know that the difference between that player getting $1.5 million and $2.5 million ain't worth it to the university to be part of a $2.8 billion back pay settlement versus a potential $20 billion back pay settlement. So I believe I'm being optimistic today. I believe everybody is going to try to get this done, but it needs codification. And we are going to learn much more about where we all sit this Thursday when it's all gets discussed on Congress. Hopefully it happens. Chick-fil-A bag. Jeremy Pruitt used a Chick-fil-A bag, and he's suing. I think he's suing Tennessee, right? Right? Okay, let's get to it. We got a lot to get to. First of all, we got a lot to get to. But we are going to start with the SEC, the Southeastern Conference. All offense, all SEC team offense per Athlon Sports. And of course, the quarterback, Arch Manning, the fat guy from Minnesota, can barely fit behind the wheel as I'm driving the hype train. I am the conductor of the Manning hype train. He's in my top 5 Heisman watch. Arch Manning, along with Nussmeier, Levitt, Klubnik, and Jeremiah Smith. Arch Manning, all 5 of those on the PATC watch list. Manning, all SEC. He has barely had to stand up to any live bullets. But I'm all in, baby. I am ready to go down with the ship. I am ready to be embarrassed. I am absolutely ready to be embarrassed by my selection of Arch Manning, top quarterback in college football. But remember, this year it's Greg the Gold. It is absolutely Greg the Gold. Texas Longhorn, Arch Manning, that is your quarterback. First team quarterback, all SEC. Ahmad Hardy, the transfer from the University of Louisiana, Monroe, and I watched him play. I talked about it at the time. I talked about it when he went in the portal. Missouri did great in the portal, by the way. So, Ahmad Hardy. Now, get a load of this here. Ahmad Hardy, Monroe, transfer to Missouri. First team, all SEC. And I think he should be. He is absolutely fantastic. Missouri's offense is going to... Missouri and Oklahoma Missouri and Oklahoma's offense are going to be fascinating to watch. The defense of Missouri, I got questions. But the offense, as long as Pribula, the quarterback of Penn State, if he can shine in his first year as a starter, Missouri Tigers is going to make some noise, at least on offense. But get a load of this. A transfer from the University of Louisiana Monroe is all SEC running back. So is transfer from the California Bears, Jaden Ott. Now, 2 years ago, I spent the whole season talking about the greatness of Ott. The ability for this guy to get yards behind a very poor California Bears offensive line. But now he hit the transfer portal. Last year he was all nicked up. 2 years ago he was a phenom. And he has transferred to Oklahoma. Can you imagine Oklahoma, Johnny Football, John Mateer, and Jaden Ott in the backfield? Holy smokes. The Sooners offense, again, Sooners in Missouri, their offenses are going to be fascinating to watch. I don't think Oklahoma's going 6-6 this year. I think they're going to do a little bit better. But anyways, Jaden Ott, Ahmad Hardy, the two running backs, first team all SEC, are both transfers. Both transfers from different conferences. And get a load of this. Athlon Sports all-purpose player is also a transfer. KC Concepcion. One of the reasons why I fell in love, that was Greg the Cooler, who no longer exists. Greg the Cooler fell in love with the North Carolina State Wolfpack because of Justin Jolly and Jordan Waiters and of course KC Concepcion. A fantastic possession receiver. He is going to Texas A&M. Holy smokes. Marcel Reed, this is the type of player that he needs. Concepcion is going to bail Marcel Reed out. Concepcion is going to find the open spot when Marcel Reed is scrambling out there, because Marcel Reed has difficulty pulling the trigger on time in the pocket, but Concepcion is going to work, get himself open. This is a big time get for Texas A&M. But again, another transfer is on the first team all SEC per Athlon Sports. But the next dude is definitely not a transfer. The phenom. Ryan Williams, Alabama. I got Williams knocking on the door of the PATC watch list, but it ain't quite there. The reason why he's not quite there is I gotta become a believer in Ty Simpson. And you all know I haven't been. He's been there for what, 3 years, 4 years? Tuscaloosa, and I'm not seeing it. I watched him a couple of years ago in a spring game. I did not see it. So maybe he has elevated his play. Maybe Ryan Williams doesn't have anything to worry about. He's an absolute phenom. Ryan Williams, all first team, all SEC. Cam Coleman, Auburn, Tiger. Cam Coleman might have a quarterback. Who can get him the ball. Transferred from Oklahoma, Jackson Arnold, who had his own issues at Oklahoma. Basically, first of all, they did not have a wide receiver room last year at Oklahoma in Norman. They all got banged up. They all got injured. Jackson Arnold transfers to Auburn. And get a load of this. He's got Cam Coleman. But Cam Coleman has Eric Singleton lined up next to him. Eric Singleton, the electric transfer wide receiver from the rambling wreck of Georgia Tech, as we all witnessed last year. So Cam Coleman has got some help in his second year as a great sophomore for Auburn. He could very well have a big time year. And again, back to Oklahoma, Johnny Football, John Mateer, quarterback, Jaden Ott, great running back. It's all going to help Deion Burks. It's all going to help Deion Burks. This is the year for Deion Burks. He's got a running back. He's got a quarterback. Big time year for Deion Burks, Oklahoma Sooners, all SEC, the tight end. He's on everybody. Eli Stowers is on everybody's SEC first team offense. Stowers is the man, the straw that stirs the drink with Diego Pavia. Vanderbilt has a player. He's earned it. First team, all SEC. The offensive line starts with Jake Slaughter, Florida. Again, you see his name on every list out there. This is per Athlon Sports, but it's Pro Football Focus. It's Lindsay. It's going to be Phil Steele. When I take a look at it, Jake Slaughter is your first team all SEC center. And then we got 4 offensive linemen. You know pretty much all their names. Parker Brailsford from Alabama. Reed Adams, Texas A&M. Caden Proctor, another Bama. And you got Caden Green, Missouri, the monster, at right tackle. Caden Green, Missouri. Missouri's going to have a very good offense this year. They could have a very good offense. They could have a very good offense. Vanderbilt still has Diego Pavia, Don Scruggs. They still have Diego Pavia. He is coming back. So, there is your first team all SEC offense tomorrow if we got time. If the world doesn't implode in college football, we'll talk all SEC defense and special teams. And then we're going to move on to the most impactful transfer players coming into the season. And then we're going to begin to spotlight a single team on every live show. We're going to take 5 to 10 minutes on every live show. We're going to break down the spotlight team for that day, just like we did last year. People really enjoyed that. We talk football in the off season here at college football's peak around the corner. There is no LSU Tiger in the all SEC first team on offense. But there is going to be an LSU Tiger on the first team defense and an LSU Tiger on the first team special teams, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. Okay, let's get to it here. We got to cover some breaking news. Ricky Tungate, you're the man. Do you ever sleep? Thank you, Ricky. I did actually take a long nap today. I woke up. I didn't even know where I was. I had to go check on the mother. And the wife, she had cooked something. I was asleep for a very long time. It absolutely shook me how long I was asleep. I knew I was exhausted, but I didn't miss anything. Everything's okay. Ricky Tungate, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for your generosity. I do very much appreciate your support, like always. You've been supporting this channel for days and days and weeks and weeks and months and months. Mr. Hoosier, I do appreciate it. We did the All Big Ten defense. We did the All Big Ten defense last week. And Indiana has got a guy in the front, a defensive lineman, a linebacker, and of course D'Angelo Pons. You've got an all Big Ten player on every line of your defense. Up front, in the middle, in the back. Indiana's got some dudes. And not to mention, we talked about Jaden Ott having run behind that very difficult, not so good California offensive line for the last couple of years. Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback of California, completed 68.7, I believe, or 68.3. Google it. Fernando Mendoza completed 68 point something percent of his passes behind that offensive line. And I think Fernando Mendoza was like 5th or 6th or 7th or 8th in all of FBS quarterbacks in being pressured. The most times being pressured. Mendoza was always under attack. Now he's going to Indiana. He's going to Indiana. You got your Hembry, the transfer running back. You still got Surratt, the receiver. Indiana is going to cause problems again this year. That's all I know. That is all I know. I agree with that. Okay. Front office sports. Private equity has arrived in college sports. Elevate's $500 million fund already has 2 schools on board. Meanwhile, Boise State is on the verge of its own private equity deal. By Ben Horney, Front Office Sports, early this morning. The private equity industry and college sports are no longer standing on opposite sides of the room, waiting for someone to make the first move. The dance has officially begun. A new $500 million initiative from sports businesses consultancy Elevate brings institutional capital directly into college sports. Separately, keyword separately, Boise State is actively considering. They're deep in talks. They are deep in talks. Actively considering bringing private equity investment into the Broncos athletic department and expects to have a deal in place within the next 6 months. The school's athletic director told Front Office Sports expects to have a deal in place within the next 6 months. That's the expectation. It's not official. We just got word that the new Pac-12, which Boise State's going to be in next year, has just signed a media agreement. We do not know for how much money, but Boise State knows for how much money. We don't know if the Pac-12 is going to have a floor when it comes to an agreement among all the schools in the conference that you got to put so much rev share money into your student athletes like the AAC has done. Is the new Pac-12 going to do that? Are they going to follow what the American Athletic Conference did? We do not know. But maybe Boise State knows eventually what is going to happen. We heard today from the commissioner, it was from the new Pac-12, it was reported in an article from John Wilner in the Mercury News that they are looking at, the Pac-12 is looking at, while each institution is going to have some freedom on where they're going to put their rev share money to, The conference is looking at making sure that there is this investment, rev share investment, in the most important sport in the conference, and of course that is football. So once the Pac-12 has got this figured out, and I'm sure all these discussions are going on with their potential expansion candidates, right? Rev share money, how much are you going to do, all this stuff. There's going to be a lot of Pac-12 news coming in the next 6 weeks. So buckle up, brace for impact. Boise State, they're going to be probably the top brand in the new Pac-12, one of the top brands, along with, Oregon State, Washington State, but they're right there. Most football success, Boise State, and they're looking at a private equity deal. Or at least a private capital deal with a private equity firm. We don't know the details. But they feel that they need more resources to compete. These developments come just days after the landmark House settlement was granted final approval, paving the way for college athletes to be paid directly by the schools and heightening the need for capital for the ones who have opted into the agreement's $20 million salary cap. Pre-House, private equity industry and college athletic departments were circling each other, but staying arm's length away from each other, right? Sidley Austin's Chuck Baker recently told Front Office Sports that despite mutual interest, colleges were hesitant to be the trailblazers with regard to taking private equity investment. The money is ready to be deployed and will be doled out to schools through private credit agreements. That means Elevate. In this particular case, Elevate will lend money to schools on a deal-by-deal basis and will then be paid back under negotiated terms, depending on what makes sense for the school, according to Jonathan Marks, Chief Business Officer for College at Elevate. We are not taking an equity position in these deals, Marks tells Front Office Sports. We don't own anything at the end of the day. We're providing capital, and ideally that school will leverage the services Elevate has to offer to maximize revenue. The goal for any of these deals is to maximize revenue, according to Marks. That could mean using the institutional capital to upgrade stadiums and arenas to sell more premium seating. We talked about that yesterday. Or converting little used areas in them into club spaces for which schools can sell memberships. I think that's a great way to use this private equity line, right? Build in premium seating, quick cash, get it done. You've already got a commitment from a number of people that are ready to buy memberships in the club seating or luxury suites, premium seating. You got your committed money. A slice of that goes to Elevate, and then you bring in the rest. It could be a win-win-win situation for everybody involved. It could be. And finally, in the article, Anderson believes that sovereign wealth funds and other foreign investment entities, are watching from the wings and preparing to strike. He pointed to golf, Formula One, and soccer as areas where international investment has become a significant factor in recent years. The NFL still bars sovereign wealth funds. The NBA let them buy up 20% of the teams in late 2022. And Qatar fund bought 5% of the Wizards for the next year. Assuming Elevate is successful in its college push, it will eventually be more than just other private equity firms bursting through the open door. And that is why the title of this show is called Boise State Knocking on Private Equity's Door. Can you imagine, for example, foreign investment from Qatar, Saudi Arabia? Can you imagine them coming into the college sports world, if it's allowed, and investing money in these college athletic departments? Put down your comments, put down your thoughts in the comment section below the video. Stephen Vitt, unfortunately, I can see that happening. Boise State looking to expand, Rod Nix. Don Scruggs, we do need a West Coast Power Conference. Well, we do have the Big Ten out there, Don Scruggs. You remember the Big Ten? The Big Ten's out there. Rod Nix, it's just a matter of time. Okay, let's get into more of what is going on in the college football world today. And again, I mentioned this earlier. Ben Portnoy, front of Sports Business Journal. Around 90 FBS athletic directors are here in Orlando to meet for the next couple of hours. Can't imagine there's anything to discuss. A closed meeting, as you see that sign, Go Black 45, you were not allowed to go in there. Daniel Gygax, you were denied. You were denied to get into that room. Daniel Gygax, rumor has it, he had a costume on, which means a coat and a tie. Daniel Gygax was denied. Amanda Krisovich, I'm at the House NCAA implementation presentation with athletic directors, which was part of what you just saw there, the sign, the FBS athletic directors. Clemson's Graham Neff says athletes will have to submit deals to NIL within 5 days of signing the deal. And schools will be held accountable if their athletes fail to submit. Example 1,641. Your collectives, your boosters, Go Black 45, LSU boosters, Don Scruggs, Georgia boosters, Stephen Vitt, Bobcats boosters, Buckeye boosters, Mountaineer boosters. You are all working within your athletic department. You better be. They want you inside the house. No more outside the house. They've got to have control. Clemson, the athletic director, Graham Neff, is telling you all, we're going to submit this NIL deal. We're going to know what is in the deal. Clemson is going to know what's in the deal. And when you sign it, student athlete, when you sign it, it's got to be submitted within 5 days. And if it comes back approved, cool. If it comes back denied, we'll make the adjustments. But it's got to be in-house. It can't be outside of the house. Plus, your NIL deal could affect your rev share deal. Because Clemson has to figure out, they have to manage this roster. Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjork says that as athletic departments, we are literally going to sign a piece of paper that says they agree to abide by the House settlement rules. All these athletic departments, all these schools we are abiding by the rules. We are part of this association. Just like when you follow the rules in your conference. Right? Georgia follows the rules of the Southeastern Conference. West Virginia follows the rules of the Big 12. This is an association of FBS schools. This situation was imposed because of a settlement that you were going to lose big time if you kept going forward into the courts. You know that. Everybody knew that. The House lawyers knew that. This has been imposed on you. You got to follow the rules. Let the lawsuits come, and hopefully there's codification, because there's not. If it doesn't work, it won't work. But in the meantime, you got to follow the rules. The Buckeye Athletic Director, we are literally going to sign a piece of paper. We are going to abide by these rules. And one more thing before we get to your phone calls. Lee Corso, College Game Day. ESPN, we're kicking off College Game Day with a trip to Texas, Ohio State, as we celebrate Lee Corso's final show back where he first made the headgear history. Back to Ohio State. The first time he made headgear history. Lee Corso. One more game. The grand finale. It's going to be a big moment. A big cultural moment. Lee Corso has been doing it for a very long time. He's going back to where it all began. What helmet is he going to put on? Is he going to put on the Longhorn? Or is he going to put on the Bucknuts Ohio State helmet? Let me know in the comments section below the video. And now we are going to turn on the phones. The phones should work. We tested them out. Check out the phones. I'm going to check if there's any breaking news. Again, phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Talk about anything in college football that your heart desires. I'm checking if I missed anything.
From Dave B.
Dave B., the floor is yours. Let it rip, sir.
Hey, Greg, love the show and all the other peeps out there. I'm probably calling about something that isn't what you're expecting.
It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Yeah, looking to draw on your vast knowledge here. It's continued to puzzle me in the back of my head. Oregon State and Washington State. How on earth did they get themselves into the mess? Like, being a BYU fan, I remember how Tom Holmoe, the AD, managed to schedule Why on earth, just to get games for 2024, did they sign into that agreement that had up to $100 million of settlements? Why were they that desperate for games? They could have paid FBS schools needing money a couple $1 million to go into Pullman and Corvallis. It was really odd, and I'm not sure if anybody's really closed the loop on that. Wasn't sure if you or any of the peeps out there know why they sold their souls on that one. Because we saw once they didn't re-up that for, I might be off by a year. Oh, no, it was 2024. Now they've managed to find 2025 games without renewing that on, 6 to 18 months notice. They managed to get several FBS home games or P4 home games. It was just sort of odd. They've gotten themselves in this predicament where they're having to give away a big portion of the $200 million war chest they had from the PAC settlement.
What I don't quite know where you're. Are you talking about how they manage their football schedules?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the football schedules. That's right.
I don't know if they had a choice. I don't know what other choice did they have. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I probably am missing something.
They could have just had weakish schedules for 2024, but it seems like they're really stuck now with what they can do, and they're having to bring in no offense to Texas State. I didn't think they'd end up with Texas State as like the best of their options now, but they really got into where they're really without all the money. UNLV managed to negotiate a better spot even.
Well, I agree. I think they made mistakes in how they went about expanding their conference. No question about it. I think they should have taken the 6 top Mountain West schools, have your 8 schools, and then you've got some leverage when you're dealing with your media partners. And now, if you want to take the miracle shot and expand with the AAC schools, maybe that can happen. I think they screwed it up, but I don't think they really screwed up their scheduling because I don't think they had much of a choice. I don't think there was much out there, and I don't think they want to spend money bringing schools. And they do have money. I mean, they still have money on this, by the way. Well, again, we don't know the particulars in this mediation either, so there's a lot we don't know. But yeah, I agree. Now, I think Texas State would be a very good member of the Pac-12. It is the only school that I've had any steam on for all these months. And now there's a report out there that someone said they thought maybe UTSA would be interested. That would be shocking to me. That would shock me if UTSA, because it would shock me at this point. It would shock me at this point if any of the AAC schools went on to the Pac-12. And of course, Texas State Bobcats are part of the Sun Belt Conference. At this point, it would shock me. So, anyways, I agree with you in the fact that there were mistakes made. No question about it. I don't know about the schedule. I don't know. I guess I really haven't paid attention to that so much.
Yeah, and it might be, I have no idea why that I started thinking about that recently, but it was, the part there where you had to get the games, they had I don't know, if they took one team from the Mountain West, it'd be a $10 million kicker or penalty, $9 million
sure
thing. So it was just surprised they didn't end up with UNLV or Memphis out of all of this. But anyway, random thought. If I'd cross you up, and now back to regularly scheduled programming.
No problem. No problem. Thanks for the call, sir.
Thanks, Greg. Love the show.
You got it. Thank you so much. When you guys call, you got control of the call. Anything you want to talk about in college football, you talk about. It doesn't have to be anything that we talked about in the monologue. Doesn't have to be anything. You know what? I got to talk football. I got to talk SEC football. And then we did front office sports. articles and so when you guys call, you control it. You've got the floor. By the way, if you want to be a member, go to our channel and become a member. There's a link in the description box below the video. A couple days ago, I put out a membership early peak cloak and dagger episode called Georgia Tech. I'm not going to talk again. I'm going to wait another day to talk about Georgia Tech. Members got the early peak. They got the cloak and dagger info on Georgia Tech within the Holy Smokes Theater. If you're a member and if you haven't watched that episode of a couple days ago, I think it's episode 57, go check it out. If you want to become a member and go check it out, become a member of our channel. And then I'll talk about it maybe tomorrow. Okay? And we also dropped episode 440 for everybody to watch. Episode 440, we dropped it this morning. Feeling a little optimistic. I'm feeling a little optimistic about the codification of the settlement. Just a little bit. AMAC. Texas State wants a full bowl of soup.
Call from
Larry Andrick.
Larry Andrick, Mr. Mountaineer, he's getting ready. Larry is getting ready for the football season. September 13, the Mountaineers versus those Panthers. Desmond Reed versus Mr. White. I don't know who your starting quarterback's going to be. It's going to be Holstein versus Markio, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in Morgantown.
I'm thinking Markio. But Henderson's
Markio.
there too. I think Markio, but Henderson's right there too.
Mr. Henderson's right there too. It's a battle. It's a battle in Morgantown. What is on your mind, Mr. Andrick?
I got a couple questions, and I have listened to all these shows and everything, not only yours but others, trying to figure out about this settlement type thing.
Yes, sir.
We know that everybody's going to have to pay $22.5 million per team.
You don't have to.
But you can pay up to that.
Up to 20.5. Yep.
Right. Now, way I understood it originally, that they took the average of what everybody, their contracts for TV contracts, their media contracts,
and some other items.
I thought it was just media.
No, I think I think it's ticket sales and things like that nature.
But what I'm getting at, it says you can spend that, but it doesn't. Did it say you had to use money out of your? Because I thought they could, a booster could give them the money to pay that as long as it was the same amount or under that amount. If they couldn't come up with the money.
Nope.
Because if it's still like I'm thinking Iowa State, for example, they're strapped from what I gather from everybody who talks.
Yeah.
And they don't know where they're going to come up with it. And if the boosters can't do it for them, they're not going to make it. Apparently,
it basically is what you need your boosters to fill in the money gap of your revenue. So you're taking your revenue streams, you're taking your media money revenue, you're taking your ticket sales and a couple of other things, and it is going in to pay your rev share. Now, the money that you used to use, the issues that you used to use that money for to pay other bills, it's not going to be there anymore because it's going to your rev share. And that is where you're going to need the booster money. Or you're going to have to figure out other revenue streams. Or you're going to have to do a private capital. Like, maybe you had it figured out, West Virginia, that you were going to use $5 million of your media money that you get from the Big 12, and you were going to build some premium seating in your old football stadium. But now that $5 million's got to go to rev share. So now you've got to you got to fill that gas tank with something else.
It comes back to if a booster gives the athletic department $22 million, and the athletic department had to pay, like you said, so much a year to build some extra premium seating, because that's what they're wanting to do.
Mm-hmm.
But so the money that they were going to spend on premium seating out of the school, that means they don't have to now. They can put that'll go straight into rev share, right? So it's actually the same damn thing.
It is.
I mean, I'm sorry.
It is. It is. It eventually all. Yeah. Yeah.
But so I didn't mean to cut. I'm sorry.
But the thing is, the boosters are already kind of double dipping, right? A lot of them. I mean,
right.
They're what Ren Baker wants. He wants the boosters with their connections, with their companies. They want them to get into these name, image, and likeness deals, right? That's right. What Rich Rod wants. That's what Ren Baker wants. So boosters are now investing in all that. They're not investing so much in building premium seating, to donate for that, to donate for a new athletic village, to donate for a new turf in your practice field. These other things are not being taken care of because your NIL money, your booster money, a lot more of that is going to your NIL. And now suddenly you got this $20.5 million rev share you got to take care of. I think I would not be shocked. Larry, I would not be shocked if we hear within the next 6 weeks that West Virginia has done some deal with a credit line, something.
I wouldn't be either. Yeah. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Before I ask my next question, you tell Don Struggs, West Virginia, he is absolutely correct. West Virginia is the most beautiful place in America.
Yeah, well, Don,
and I love it.
Every 10 things that Don says, one of them is correct. So this is the one. This is the one.
Okay.
All right, man.
The other thing, question I was going to ask is, wait a minute, what the hell was it?
Go ahead, take your time.
Oh, yeah, now the rev share is going to be paid, right. Now the NIL that has to go through that clearinghouse, is that going to bring back the old pocket switcheroo, or is it going to actually work with real strict discipline? Or is it just up in the air right now?
Well, we're gonna find out together. We're gonna find out. So in theory, these deals, small or big, are gonna have to be true commercial NIL deals in which the deal is in the commercial range of what is expected in an NIL deal. And there's a lot of variables in that. How popular the player is, how successful the player is, what market, what type of business is signing him up. So there's a lot of variables that are going to go into this computer, this algorithm, Larry, things that you and I don't understand, these magical boxes that you can put data in, they spit out the answer. That's what this clearinghouse is. How, it's probably going to be successful in kicking out some of these outrageous pay-for-play deals, inducements, not true NIL deals. But the question is, there's going to be there's going to be moments where a player, an athletic department is going to say, holy smokes, that's a legit deal, and the clearinghouse just denied it. But Larry, Larry, I got a feeling that everyone's going to learn where the sweet spots are, what it takes to get a deal submitted and approved. You know what I'm saying? After trial and error, I think West Virginia is going to learn, just like everybody else, exactly what needs to be done.
I sure hope so, because
Hello?
I can't imagine, I'm being serious, I can't imagine a kid 17 years old getting paid $4 million and they don't even know if he's any good or not.
Yeah, and their value in the marketplace isn't really, it isn't that high, because these NBA players aren't making that money in these NIL deals.
No.
So most
and
of them
that's
are.
what I'm saying. It's got to, if that clearinghouse, now the other thing that we don't know, I don't think yet, they were talking about national companies more than likely clearinghouse would clear them.
Yeah.
Now, all right, say Anheuser-Busch, for example, wanted Georgia, was going to, because they're in Georgia, so they say, okay, Georgia, we're going to do a national television. We're going to take your quarterback, and we're going to pay him $2. All he has to do is take a picture with us, and we're going to put him on our advertisements once in a while, and we're going to pay him the $2 million, and he don't have to do nothing else. Is that considered a good deal, or does he have to go, do the commercials and be there and do this? And I think we're all going to learn all this along the way.
Yep.
Because
we're going to learn. Yep. We're going to learn.
You take Oregon.
Yep.
Man, you know what he could do with I'll put what's his name on a Nike shirt. Yep. And I'm going to pay him $7 million. Is that a legitimate deal?
Well, I tell you what, I don't know if it is or not, but what we've heard from reports, Ross Dellinger, that the clearinghouse, part of this algorithm is that they're going to be looking at NBA, NFL type of NIL deals to help create the true marketplace. Because again, these professional players cannot accept inducements. They can accept, they can get NIL deals, but you can't you can't take a bribe money to sign a contract with the team beyond the contract. So these professional sports, these professional players are signing true NIL deals. So if an NBA player can get his face on a t-shirt, a Nike t-shirt, and make $7 million, well, maybe a college football player can, if he's as popular, as impactful. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, I think I'm being optimistic here, Larry. I might as well be, because everybody else is being pessimistic. I think it might be successful in throwing out a lot of these outrageous pay-for-play type of deals, where it's going to get tricky.
I sure hope so.
Where it's going to get tricky, where it's going to get hard. I think it's at the very beginning of all this, where nobody really knows. So they're going to submit a whole bunch of deals. They're going to get a whole bunch of information back. And these schools, these general managers and their staffs are going to look at these NIL deals and say, this worked, this didn't, this worked, this didn't. And now we're going to try to figure out what will work for the Deloitte clearinghouse. And I think everyone's going to learn in time. At the beginning, I think it's going to be rough. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tricky. That's my take on it.
I think if they do the first deal worth $7 million to anybody, I think the rest of you might as well shut it up right there and forget it. Because if they do that and somebody else gets denied, they're going out the back door at McDonald's and bring home a McDonald's bag.
Well, if they do that, I mean, they can. If you want to give a money to a student athlete to induce them to play at Texas Central University. I just made that school up.
I understand. Good.
If you give money in a McDonald bags to that player, you're going to be able to do that. But the problem is, what if you get caught? And that
If
is
you get caught.
Go ahead.
You know this, Greg, as well as I do, that in the South years ago, that happened every single year. The college guy was going to this school, and the next thing you know, he's driving a Cadillac or back then it was one of those kind of cars, and Lincoln or Cadillac or a sports car, and the kid didn't come from a poverty home.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody was able to say, hey, he got that money from somebody.
Yep.
But you knew damn well he didn't get it from his dad or his mom or his cousin. I understand. It's going to be a long process. I just hope they get it right.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. Larry,
well, hey, Greg, thank you. Thank you so much for taking my call. It's always fun to talk to you.
You got it, buddy.
And I'll talk at you later.
You got it. Almost heaven. Q Country Roads.
You got it, West Virginia.
You got
By
it.
God, it's almost heaven for sure.
That's right. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
And here's the thing, as MBM says, there won't be any way to prove it. I don't know about no way to prove it. You could prove it. But what if you can prove it? The enforcement arm is the judge, the jury, and the executioner. The enforcement arm, the sports commission, if they can prove it, they're the ones that hand down the ruling. If it happens, the player can be ineligible and the school is going to pay a penalty. That is why these schools are bringing all their boosters, all their collectives in-house. And they're telling them, no McDonald bags. Don't do it. If you do it, you're going to be ostracized. You're not coming into the football stadium anymore. You're going to have to get rid of your suite. And we're going to have to pay a penalty. And the player that you think you were helping his life with, he's going to become ineligible. Now, again, none of this works without it being codified by an act of Congress. I happen to be a little bit optimistic this morning. Tomorrow I could completely change. Tomorrow I could be completely say, this ain't going to work. They're never going to pass it. We'll see what happens on Thursday. But according to the article that we did in episode 440, this House bill, which has been leaked, a large part of the House bill is going to codify the large part of the settlement. And it is given more past what this settlement is. They're trying to get Republicans and Democrats to both. They got to get some of both, right? It ain't going to be a one party. You got to get some Republican leaders. You got to get some of the Democrat Party votes. And part of the article that talked about it this morning was there are things in there that Democrats wanted. Protections of the student athlete in regards to injury insurance, a list of items. So they're working on it. And if this doesn't work, that McDonald's bag full of cash, it might be worth it to the student athlete, but it ain't going to be worth it to your school, because your school is gonna get absolutely crushed, because that $2.8 billion back pay is going to go to 2025. We're talking billions of dollars. We're not talking about $30,000 in a McDonald bag or $200,000 in a Chick-fil-A bag. We're talking billions of dollars if this doesn't work. Already has a joint sponsorship. That is correct. Corned beef is excellent. Not as good as pastrami, but good. You don't have to you shouldn't. You should be you're talking about, I want an act of Congress to say that MBM, Cranky Tiger, Go Black 45, Love Sports, Jose, I want an act of Congress that says you shall not be able to put cheese on your corned beef or your pastrami. How about them apples? An act of Congress. Forget about the Congress. Make me a dictator when it comes to food. The fat guy from Minnesota, forget about what's his name, Bobby Kennedy. Forget about him. Bring in the fat guy from Minnesota. I will dictate the health of this country. Okay. Pastrami is much better than corned beef. Great call, Larry. Absolutely. Great call. Great call. All right. I think we're going to shut it down for the evening. This was going to be just a nice, easy Tuesday afternoon, early evening live show. And I think we succeeded. Phone lines worked. Everything worked today. And the PATC family was absolutely spectacular once again. Again, if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to this college football YouTube channel. Subscribe and turn on those notifications. We can come on live at any time. If there's breaking news tonight, guess what happens? I come running in here. I get the show ready to go, and we go live. So make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications. I want to thank Expedition Greg and Ricky Tungate for your generosity, helping us keep the lights on. The great phone calls, the great chats, the great comments in the chat room. Once again, PATC family members brought it. Today, we talked about the SEC, all first team offense per Athlon Sports. Tomorrow, we're going to talk all SEC defense and special teams as we continue to get ready for the college football season. And the only way we can get ready for the season if we talk football. Football, every live show talking football, and of course, covering everything from A to Z in college football. Tomorrow, for those who are not members of our channel, tomorrow I will probably talk about the information that we received here at Peek Around the Corner when it comes to Georgia Tech. If you are a member of our channel, or if you would like to be a member of our channel, go to the description box below the video, hit that link, and become a member, and you'll be able to watch Early Peek Cloak and Dagger episode 57 titled Georgia Tech. And you can get ready when we talk about it tomorrow, Wednesday, June 11th. Thank you all for joining us. I do appreciate it. Before you leave, smash that like button if you liked our content today. It helps us with the algorithms of YouTube so very much. Until next time, from all of us at College Football, the home of the college football sickles, from all of us to all of you, Peek Around the Corner, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.